sandhill crane. Look at him. That's pretty cool. That's fun. See those cranes? They just kind of arrive back. They're here for the spring, summer. They leave in the fall, and you always kind of know spring has arrived when they come back. Kind of fun.
He's got a leather jacket, claws that grip tight. Eyes like the moon piercing through the night. Wind in his fur as he tears down the lane, riding like a legend in the pouring rain. He's ADV-o-CAT. He's all of that. He's where it's at. He's ADV-o-CAT. Roaring through the city with a mighty spat. He's a rebel on wheels. He's ADV-o-CAT.
Now, this may run counter to a lot of the things that you might believe. You might think if I buy a new motorcycle, I'm going to get a bike that is pristine, that isn't going to have a bunch of maintenance issues, and I'm going to be able to roll with it right off the bat. But let me just start by saying that that's exactly, I think, why you don't want one. You don't want to put the first scratch in that motorcycle. You're going to be afraid to ride it if you're like a lot of people, and afraid to be the one that you just spent a pile of money on this thing, and now you're going to go out and you're going to tip it over and you're going to scratch it, right? Think about how many pristine SUVs you see driving around town. You know, they have all kinds of four-wheel drive capability, but nobody does anything to them because they're afraid to put a scratch in the paint. You don't want to do that with your first bike because you want to learn how to ride it, and that means that you really are probably going to end up tipping it over a number of times, and you're going to put scratches in it, and it's going to take some hits. And if you start with a used motorcycle, you're going to find that that's kind of the pressure of that is off of you. In addition, you're going to be able to buy that bike for significantly less money. You're going to be able to ride it, assuming you do your routine maintenance. Make sure to take care of it when it comes to just, doing what needs to be done to keep the engine and the drivetrain working well. At the end of your time, at the end of the time that you spend learning how to ride this bike, you're going to be able to sell it for pretty much the same price that you paid for it. And I think that is pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think here's the situation when you're actually out here riding. The bike you got is the bike that you want because you're out and you're having fun and you're riding it. So like I don't think you get caught up that much worrying about like spec sheets and a couple of horsepower this way or the other. Once you're out here, well, it might not matter. I mean, if you're not racing or something, if you're just out riding, especially when you're just learning how, just having something that's fun that you can kind of just rip around on is kind of where it's, it's where you want to be. Have a fun day out here, by the way. Around. Yeah, I just kind of think like early in your riding when you just want to get out here and learn how to ride around on these gravel roads and 2-track roads and just out kind of have some fun and get used to making your bike fly around a little bit. It's fun to just have a bike that you enjoy. And I think that's going to be a smaller CC bike, not a big heavy thing that you're battling with all the time. But hey, you're probably thinking, a used motorcycle, isn't that a risk, right? Like if I'm going to buy a used motorcycle, I'm getting somebody else's problems potentially. And that's true. Except for there are ways that you can make that risk easier. And I'm going to give you the simplest one possible. Buy motorcycles from old guys. What you're going to find, at least especially with dual sports, is that there's a whole world of people who ride dual sport motorcycles who take really good care of those bikes. And that you know how to recognize those kinds of people. You meet them, you talk to them, they have maintenance records, you get a look around their garage and you can see that the place is, been taken care of. And they have records of the work that they do, and they can talk to you about the bike in a way that somebody who really takes care of something knows how to talk about something. You can do this. And so buy a motorcycle from an old guy. Do not buy motorcycles from young guys who, for instance, have turned them into supermotos and will tell you, oh, I still have the other tires, the other wheel sets. Not good. That bike's been thrashed. It's been wheelied all over. It's been torn around. Yes, there are some guys who ride supermotos who take great care of their bikes, but it's a red flag, and I would just walk away from it. Biggest red flag that I know of, when someone lists a motorcycle and says that there's no title. Don't buy that motorcycle. Don't buy it with a gun to your head. Someone who takes care of their motorcycles, who maintains them, who cares for them, that person has a title for that motorcycle every single time. And if the seller says, hey, it's no problem, you can go to the DMV, I'll give you a bill of sale, and we won't have any problem getting a title, that's just simply not true. It's going to be a pain in the butt, and if it was no problem, that person would have done it. So don't do it. Buying a used motorcycle is a way to save money, but save money to a point. You want to buy motorcycles from people who've cared for them, who are enthusiastic, and that kind of a sale is going to lead to a really good outcome. Buying from somebody who does not give you those vibes is a bad idea every single time. Oh yeah, I promised that I would say which bike I would buy. And honestly, if I weighed it all, if I was a beginner, I'd get a used Honda CRF 300L. There it is. That's the recommendation I would have. And then ride it for a few years. You might decide you want to ride it for the rest of your life, or you might decide you want to get something else. But it just seems like that's a perfect place to start. It's reliable. You can get it at a fairly decent price. You can tip it over and you're not going to hurt it. And you'll be able to sell it for probably pretty close to what you paid for it.